Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cheat Code Jiu Jitsu. Jeff here again. I told you I had something special coming up, and we're going to jump today into the Monoplata off of our lockdown to Grapevine grip transition that we've been working in the last couple of videos. Monoplata is a somewhat unorthodox submission. It's a shoulder lock. It tends to attack a straight arm and twist. I'll demonstrate the sub in a minute for those who don't know what it is. I did not come up with this setup for the Monoplata. I've been working it for a while. Learned this actually from Josh Hinger, who is an Atos Jiu Jitsu competitor, multiple-time no-gi world champion. Placed third in ADCC last year, great guy. He's been using Monoplata with this setup at super high levels for a long time. Really good at it, great stuff. Very fun transition, and I really love trying to set it up off of this Grapevine grip that we've got, because you come up and mount in just a perfect optimal position to go directly into Hinger's Monoplata system, and works really well. So lockdown to Grapevine grip to Monoplata. Stay tuned. Okay, so most important thing to understand first is what the Monoplata actually is and how we're going to finish the guy with the Monoplata. For those of you who are not familiar with the move, it is a twisting shoulder lock done typically from mount. There's some side mount setups and things that you can use, but the actual move itself generally comes on from mount, and then I transition into it. It's a twisting shoulder lock, not unlike an omoplata or a kimura. Similar mechanics, but it attacks generally a straight arm. So not actually being in position for it. What it basically looks like is I would have Sebastian's arm tucked in behind my back. My hips are going to be sliding in here on his elbow. My hand is going to grip back here behind the tricep, and then I'm shoving my body underneath of his elbow while simultaneously putting downward pressure on his wrist. And so it tweaks the arm, turns it, just like that. Similar to if he had his arm bent, that would be a kimura, and that's usually what's going to happen in an omoplata as well. But for here, for the Monoplata, his arm is going to be mostly straight, and then I'm going to twist around that. So let's take a look at what that would actually look like from mount. All right, so what is the Monoplata? The Monoplata is going to come on when I was in mount and I was sliding off to the side, and I've got this arm trapped. There's a couple submissions that can come on from this type of a position. If Sebastian leaves his thumb up here, I've got kind of a sit back arm bar. I can do a triangle from here. We'll show a couple setups for that in a minute. But to get the Monoplata, pay no attention to my feet. I'll show you what I'm going to do with my feet in a minute. But the Monoplata itself is going to involve me clamping down on this arm right here. I'm going to take my top arm, which is my right arm in this case, over grip onto either his elbow or at the tricep. I'm going to get a good solid grip there. And then what I'm doing while clamped down here is I'm going to slide my hips underneath of Sebastian's arm and then pull up with the arm that's around, or with the hand that's around his elbow. Now, I don't really have him isolated here, so there's no tap. We'll show you how to deal with that in a minute. But I'm basically just sliding the hips through, and as I turn the hips through, it's going to make his arm rotate around the shoulder. So that's how you finish a Monoplata. So now the question becomes, how do we set that up from our Grapevine grip transition? So let's work on that now. All right, so we worked this transition a few different times in a couple videos. If you're not sure how to do the lockdown to Grapevine grip transition, you want more details on that and the sweep, check the cards up at the top and you'll see a video for it. But in short, lockdown, overhook, I'm trying to bring my knee through, Sebastian blocks it, I grab the wrist, pull the knee up, and then I lock my Grapevine grip. We're gonna do this from mount, so I'm gonna butterfly hook out, and then I'm going to butterfly sweep, and then I'm coming up on top. So let's actually reposition this back up just a second. A little bit more back that way. Perfect. So now I've come up on top. Notice here a couple of things. Number one, I've done this a few times where I've kind of come up low. I want to be up high for this because I want to pull Sebastian up off the ground. This foot, my left foot, I posted on to keep myself postured back. I'm actually going to take that foot and I'm going to post it right here underneath of the shoulder that I have elevated so I can keep this up in the air. My knee is up over top of this trapped arm. Imagine I still have my grip in place. This is something that I need for the Monoplata because I'm going to need to turn the corner with my knee. It's hard to do that sometimes from mount because you get good grapplers that if this arm that is inside is still free, they're going to want to post their elbow on the inside of the knee, create a frame, push out right there. That becomes difficult for me to turn the corner. From the Grapevine grip where I've got this hand stuffed in there, it's really hard for him to move his elbow out in the way that he needs to stop me from turning the corner. So I can get this knee around and in front of the shoulder. Once I've got this in front of the shoulder, the Monoplata is in play. So from here, I'm going to release my wrist grip with my right hand. I need to get this underhook or this overhook that I have in place out as well. So I'm going to take my free hand, block the tricep so he can't just pull his arm out, extract the overhook, and then I'm immediately sagging on top of this knee. From here, the footwork is this foot that's currently behind the shoulder is going to slide underneath of Sebastian's head. This knee is going to come up off the ground, and this ankle is going to come to rest on the mat right at this shoulder. So fall off to the side, draw this back, stomp, and then the leg that's going under his head covers. Then I pinch this all together. Now, I'm one arm in, one arm out at this point, so if he were to sit up on me, I've got a very easy triangle transition. Most people recognize that, so they're not gonna sit up. I would have to pull him to get up. That's where the Monoplata comes in, is where he's trying to stay down to avoid being triangled. So he stays down, I clamp this all in place, I go over grip here, grip, and because of this lock that I've got on his head, it keeps him immobilized and he can't get out. Downward pressure here, slide the hips through, take the Monoplata. So, looking at that from a different angle. All right, so I've swept to mount with my Grapevine grip. You can see my knee is just barely above his elbow at this point when I first came up. So now I need to turn the corner and get that up higher. And then from here, release, grab the tricep, sag, put this foot under the head, sag off to the side. This foot comes up, stomps at the shoulder, and then this all locks in place. Again, if Sebastian were to sit up, he's going to get triangled. So he knows that. He's going to stay down. He's trying to avoid being triangled. While he does that, I overgrip the tricep. This foot can come out, slide through, and twist. Tap hands in place. Monoplata's there. If this arm gets straight for whatever reason, I've always got an arm bar there. Most likely he's going to avoid the arm bar as well, so he's going to keep that just a little bit bent with the thumb turned down. Perfect setup for my Monoplata. Grab it, pull through, twist, and take the shoulder walk. If you guys are not following Josh Hinger yet, do it. He's got a whole system of stuff that he's been doing from that Monoplata position. He's got a whole system that he's been nailing guys at the highest level with. I don't want to show anything other than the Monoplata because I think he might have an instructional coming out on that at some point. If he does, buy it. Very effective stuff, super awesome. Great transition to catch guys with because it's kind of an unorthodox submission. And it's another one of those that kind of feeds into, they're blocking the obvious submission, so you got something in the back pocket that basically plays right into whatever their counter is. So we got one more submission coming up from this Grapevine grip position that we're getting to from lockdown, and then that will conclude our lockdown series. We're going to go top half guard from there. So come back next time. One more submission. We'll check that one out. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit the like button. It really helps us out a lot. And then subscribe to the channel and make sure you turn on notifications so you get a notification every time we upload a new video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.